Yes, ma'am. Thank you guys for tuning in to the Coffee Bean Talk podcast. And today we are talking about finding love and dating during COVID. The shit it's hard, ain't it? It's hard.
Yes.
It's got to be
Yes.
hard because I couldn't imagine having a date just right now today. So today's guest, you guys, is the amazing, beautiful Black queen, Jessica Johson. Yes,
Hello,
ma'am.
hello.
Thank
Yes.
you so much, Jessica, for coming on. I'm so excited. I mean, we've been talking about this for a while. Just dating. Like, girl, first of all, I wouldn't want to be dating today. Second of all, I wouldn't want to be dating during COVID. I mean, because I just don't, I mean, I guess dating is a new, there has to be a new way of dating at, now. So let's get right on into it, Jessica. Like, let's talk about it, girl. How has your experience been dating during COVID?
I mean, as you mentioned, I mean, it's not like the previous times, but even then, I mean, I would say dating is still about the same for me in terms of how I meet people or how I talk to people. But with the twist, obviously, because we want to social distance and, just, but still try to meet somebody in the midst of it all. So it's been interesting, just to see, what how the other guy is, experiencing the pandemic as well, and how he wants to date in this whole process. Because you find more in this climate, they want you to come to their home, and that's been a thing even before quarantine, but even more so, come to my house.
Okay.
I want to meet you at my house, and I obviously safety don't feel comfortable with that, so not coming to nobody's house. So trying to navigate that has been interesting.
So when you say they like come to my house, because girl, they love to hit you with the, oh, I mean, we can just, chill at the crib. No.
Yeah.
I want to go out, like out there into the world.
Exactly, because you still can, go to restaurants. You can still social distance in restaurants. You can choose to eat outside, or some restaurants are cutting their capacity in half. So they're spreading, people out in the restaurant. So there, you still can date, or you still can, go out. You just have to do it more consciously in this time period. So going to your house is not, I mean, obviously, unless you establish a connection or whatever, then, if you're ready to go to the next step, then go to their home. But in the initial meetup, I don't like to go to anyone's home, so
right.
That's not my thing.
Girl, me either. And
Yeah.
you're not gonna come over here and soak up all my AC and my heat and my cable. You're not gonna do that because you know why? Because all that costs.
Yeah.
it all costs. None of that's free. And you're gonna pull your weight, so you're not gonna be free either. So do you think that, okay, with you saying that with the climate changing with dating in COVID, do you think some guys will be using that to their advantage so that they can get out of courting you and actually, and I hate to say it because they love to say, oh, and let me go back and restate that comment. I'm gonna say anybody you're in a relationship. It does that. Do you think people are using COVID as an excuse not to court people, whether it be man, woman, man, like however the case may be? Because a lot of people are, oh, I'm too nervous to go out.
Yeah.
But then, bitch, I see you out. But you were so nervous to go out when it was time to go out and spend that coin. And when I say spend that coin, I'm not saying that it has to, because everybody's in this whole, well, a woman can. I get it. I get it. But let's get down to business. I need to see that you can spend a coin, even if it's just a coin. I'm not asking you to spend big bills, but at least show me that you're willing to put in a little bit more effort. And it's not all about the coin. And because people will say that, well, what if you get somebody that doesn't have?
You still. Yeah, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
I was just gonna say, you still want someone that's intentional. You know what I mean? Like, you don't necessarily, for me, in our first meetup, it don't have to be an expensive restaurant. I mean, I do, my time is valuable just as much as your time. So I do want to make sure that we do have we can hold a conversation. You know, there is a level of interest, a level of you know, us finding commonality. You know what I mean? So it doesn't necessarily have to mean that we have to go to this expensive restaurant to show that, you know, you can spend a coin. I do want to make sure that we do have the basis down in our initial meet. So, you know, us going to Starbucks or us going to, you know, something really low key for the initial meetup, I'm perfectly okay with that, because like I said, my time is just as valuable. And because you're spending a whole lot of money and I don't really, conversation is kind of bland, you know, we're not really, there's no connection there, then, you know, I want to sit in a restaurant with you for a few hours or whatever, and you spending a whole lot of money. Like, no, I want to see that when we just doing the basic stuff, and then we can be like, okay, cool, there's a mutual interest here, and let's go to this restaurant here. Let's continue to, you know, expand on that. So I still want a man to be intentional.
Yeah, it's kind of like it's kind of like when you spend a coin to go on that date. It's like a small little vested interest, because it's like that deposit.
Right.
It's a deposit. it's a deposit for the future.
Right.
No, I'm kidding, but I just like to see, you know, because so many people have got out of courting, and I feel like that has been the reason why so many people can't stay in a relationship, period. I mean, because you're automatically jumping to that person's fine AF. So it's like, yes. And then it's like, oh, let's do a Netflix and chill. It is always one thing leads to another. And then boom, we're at that moment where one thing has led to another, into another, into another, into another, until the breakup.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's true. I think it's how you start kind of pretty much determines the course of the relationship. You know, personally, I don't want a man doing a bare minimum. I do want a man that's being intentional. You know, so how you kind of pursue me in the beginning kind of determines what is going to be throughout the relationship, or dating to a relationship. So, you know, intentionality is important, and I don't like someone that's just, you know, like you said, Netflix and chilling and just want to just chill, and it's a vibe, and I get the vibe.
It's always a vibe.
Girl, I said on my dating profile that how tired I was of guys talking about a vibe, because it'd be like, I get that, but in a sense that it kind of takes back or remove the element of courtship, because I want to vibe with you, but I still want, you know, I still want you to date me. I still want you to pursue me. Like, I still want you to, like, you know, show interest and have and know how to have a conversation. I told somebody a while ago that I feel like there's just a lot of now just a lot of surface level, you know, there's really not a lot of depth, you know, when it comes to getting to know, because that's a whole nother element of surprise too, you know, the whole getting to know process. And you want to know if that man or that woman can carry a conversation. And sometimes these, you know, Negroes they don't be know how to carry a conversation, and then they ready to Netflix and chill. That's not how
they want to do a whole lot of chilling.
And you want to talk about nothing.
A whole lot of chilling, and then it becomes a whole lot of nothing, like you said. Let me ask you this, Jessica. What do you consider dating? And when I say what do you consider dating, because it seems to me, and I could be completely wrong, so, you know, let me know.
Sure.
When I hear the word dating, it always just seems like two people in the pre-relationship versus everybody talking about Lori Harvey, that she's like dating all these guys, but she's literally dating. And have we gotten away from the dating aspect and automatically just jumping into talking, getting the number, to already being in the pre-relationship? Because the pre-relationship is like, you're not talking to anybody else. We're getting ready to go ahead and make that official. But are we missing the dating steps?
I would say that was my issue in the past, where I would just automatically assume, oh, we can be together after just like a couple of conversations or times or dates or whatever. Oh, we can go ahead and start being girlfriend and boyfriend. But I do think people need to date more, and that's what I've realized even in quarantine, and where instead of just assuming that because you and this person have had some dope couple conversations or some dates to assume that y'all in a relationship, but to instead continue to date and get to know and find out what you like and what you don't like, and don't put all your eggs in one basket. I think it's absurd to hear people take on a Lori Harvey situation and act like she shouldn't. She's a young, beautiful, rich woman. She has access to all these different people. So I would be dating like she's dating too, I mean, and even now, like, I feel like I've given myself the opportunity to truly get to know who I am and what I want. And I'm not, just gonna date you simply because of something, that may not be long term, you know what I'm saying? Or that we might not even be on the same page. So, I need to kind of test the waters and,
Right.
and have those conversations and see what I like and what I don't like. So I think it's nothing wrong with dating multiple people until you and him decide, or whoever, that you guys, have mutual, like, yeah, I can see us, going long term, or, whatever the case may be.
So dating, you feel like dating should be with, multiple people, just testing the waters to see who you like. Okay,
absolutely.
So yeah, go ahead.
I was just gonna say that I even also think it's okay expressing that to the opposite or the same, whatever. Like saying like, yeah, I am dating multiple people. I'm not a jealous person to the point where I feel like where I'm naive and say, oh, he should only be talking to me. Absolutely not. I think it's okay, that you are, finding out what you like, because I know I'm very confident in who I am, and I think I'm the SHIT. And so what you're doing does not affect me. Now, I think what makes it a little bit more tricky when sex get involved and all these other elements, really, really sex, where you have to decide, okay, what is this? What am I getting from this?
Right. Now, going over to the moving through the dating process, because now we're dating, right? So when do we kick it in, like, okay, like I'm really feeling this person and it's time to drop. When do you, at what point? Because I feel like people are just jumping to that point, like without even, like, you don't know this person's status, not trying to be funny, but some people are out here, you out here just because he's fine, baby. He might be dating you and trying to Netflix and chill with you.
Yeah.
And also trying to Netflix and chill with him. But you don't know his status. So you never asked. You don't know this person enough. And some people are on a don't ask, don't tell basis. But we don't ask. We don't. And I feel like it's totally okay to, and I'm gonna give you an example. I was out one day with Chassie and one of her friends. Her friend was actually looking, he was dating, newly on the market, and he was like on a dating app. And on the dating app, he's talking to this woman, and she makes reference to, this ain't what you want, or it was some very, around the bush type of, I said, ask her, is she a man?
No. Okay, and she was?
And for sure she was.
Oh, wow. I haven't had that.
And when I say she, I'm saying she is definitely, and I'm using she because I'm using the pronoun as she has represented herself. As a transgender woman, and hey, by all means, do you. Mm-hmm. But when you're doing that and you don't allow that person to know your status, that's dangerous. But it's also the responsibility of the person who is also dating to find out your status and ask you. So at what point do you get to that next level of like, I'm ready to get physical?
I think you should ask. I'm sorry.
Yeah, go ahead. No, go ahead.
I talked to somebody recently who was very upfront about all of that. As far as if he's been tested for HIV, for sexual transmitted disease, his sexual preferences, intimacy. Like, we talked about all of that up front, and I appreciate that, because a lot of guys, as much as they want women to be open, they still can be very taboo about sex. It still can be considered just a man thing, so they don't really ask women, like, what your interests are, or like, or if you are sexually active, or if you are, how many well, you don't have to get into the how many partners thing unless you want to, but just knowing their statuses. A lot of guys that I've came across don't necessarily ask that question. So for him to be very upfront about everything, as far as like, yeah, everything got tested, and this is what I like, this is my sexual interest, like, I like that, because you want a man or a woman to be open about who they are and where they are. And so when he did that, that allowed me to be open about who I am, and my history or whatever. And I feel like the sooner you have those questions, the less you have to. I mean, then by the time, I guess, you arrive to having sex, you kind of already know where you are in that process. And I also think you both getting tested at the same time is important, so you can share your statuses. Anything about that is a little bit not society at a society standard, like being a transgendered or anything like that, in my opinion, needs to be said up front, because
that's where I'm headed with it. But I feel like I said, some people are on a don't ask, don't tell basis. But like I told that guy, I said, look, I bet you it's a transgender ask.
And so how did he take that?
The friend, he laughed, and he was very, because he has a very open mind, so he wasn't like any
sweet
type of way. But he said, he let that person know, hey, that's not my preference, I wish you the best, and I'm gonna exit at this time. But some people don't find out until it's time to like Miss E say, lay it low and spread it wide. That's when you find out, once it's spread it wide. So I just feel like, at what point in dating do you discuss that? And like you said, I think that people have gotten so when it comes to sex, and when it comes to talking about adult shit. It's like, y'all want to do adult shit, but y'all don't want to have adult conversations before you do adult shit. So I feel like you said, that should be discussed up front, and it shouldn't be such a that's secret, that's personal. Oh yeah, all that's personal. But see, once you're trying to get a need, and once you're trying to lay up with this right here, once you're trying to lay up here with me, that becomes my business as well.
It's just a level of maturity. I think sex has to be dealt with as mature adults. And a lot of people, like I said, men and women, it's like a hush hush thing, and it shouldn't be, because a lot of things can come from sex, STDs, HIV, babies, people, some Christians would say soul ties, you know what I'm saying? So there's a lot of things that can come from sex that I feel like that should be dealt with mature audiences, you know what I'm saying? Like mature adults, where we know what we're getting out of the situation.
Right. So we get to the sex part. Boom. We there. So now it's like we having sex, and we're there now, because we've already crossed that line. So now it's like, because I feel like most women have that thought, or a lot of women have it. I'm not gonna say most. A lot of women have the thought, like, now is he gonna call me back after this?
That's real.
Or is this real?
Yeah. I had that thought recently.
So when you have that thought, and then the person either proves you right or wrong, walk me through that. Like, as a matter of fact, go through your experience.
So I actually didn't go through it, because I had that thought initially. I was just like, I don't know what's going to happen the next day. Like, the next day just kept ringing to my mind in the moment. And I was just like, I don't know what's gonna happen the next day, because we hadn't talked about, what we were doing, if anything or whatever. He was in a different space, and I knew he was in a different space. And I just was like, what if he doesn't call me the next day?
Right.
That would hurt my little feelings, because I, got a soft spot, so I didn't want that to happen. I didn't want to think about if he wouldn't call me the next day, or I just didn't want to take myself through that. So I decided not to, I went against my urge and decided to just say, nah, I'm not gonna do that.
But in the long run, did you think like, damn, I am so glad I didn't go there?
Ooh. With him, I mean, I was like, dang, because he's a special guy, but I still have like mixed feelings about it even to this day. But I know where I am, and I just know that I'm not at that place. If this was like, if I was in a different space, or this was a couple of years ago, then I'd probably be able to like, okay, well, whatever. So even if you don't call me the next day, I'm okay with that. Exactly. But I'm a little older, a little seasoned, you know what I'm saying? So listen, I done been there, done that. Some things just ain't worth it anymore. But okay. He's a special place.
So let me ask you this. With you saying you're a little more seasoned, you're kind of, and me just knowing you are a woman who knows exactly what she wants. Two questions with that.
Sure.
First question is, do you feel like you knowing exactly what you want and being very intentional and very upfront about what it is that you're looking for, do you feel like that will turn a person away from dating you because A, they're not ready, or B, part of my second question is, they're intimidated by a woman of that caliber who may have her stuff together, who may be ready? Like, for me, it's like, I already got the table. You just come with your half. So do you feel like that intimidates a man? Because I've even had a male cousin tell me that he literally stopped dealing with this woman because she was doing too much, like basically doing too much, as in she got her shit all the way together to the point that it's going to out you for not having your shit together. So in the dating process, especially during COVID, because people have lost jobs, money ain't like it was. I mean, people are just literally fending for themselves and living day to day. You being at this place in your life, do you feel like it's going to basically steer people away for those two reasons?
Honestly, I mean, I think once you come into your own, you don't even really think about it like that, like a negative, because you understand that person is not for you. Because as if we are, and this is me getting like spiritual and like me connected who I am to the source. If I know who I am, then who I am should inspire you. Who I am should allow you to be who you are fully, and say, let me assess where I'm at, and let me see if I can meet her, or if I need to step aside and allow the right man to come along.
Yes, ma'am.
You know what I'm saying? So I just feel like if I'm your person, then it should bring something out of you. If it does not, exactly, if it does not call you to live out your truth, then I'm not your person.
Yes, ma'am.
And I just feel like it does not intimidate me if a man, because I've dealt with a man who was like that. Like, I'm not saying that I'm on my way. I haven't fully evolved in the way that I want to, but I am on my way. And I've dealt with a guy who was in another space, and I knew he recognized that, and he, for whatever reason, he wanted me to kind of like, get it out of him. I'm like, I don't have that capacity in me to just, make you be the man that you want to be. I feel like you should already have an idea, and you should be working on that, either as you approach me, as you meet me, as you talk to me, or before me, but it shouldn't be where I'm having to pick you apart and say, okay, let me help you be the man, all that you should be. No, I want to inspire you. I want to encourage you. I want to support you. But I'm not here to do your work, just like you're not here to do my work. You know what I'm saying?
Ma'am.
So, it's just, once you know who you are and who you called to be and who your source is, then I feel like, if that person doesn't match up, then it is what it is, because that's not your fault. That's not your problem, nor you should be concerned.
Yes, you're not ready for a relationship. You're not ready for, you know what? And that's your business.
Yeah,
And that's your business. But
like Tabitha Brown say.
That's your business.
Exactly.
But I can't worry about that. So with that being said, like you said, step aside. So the next person who is ready, who has, started to understand themselves, because I feel that way too. I mean, well, I'm married, so I'm just happy to be married to a person who is walking literally in their truth, not thinking about whatever the fuck somebody else has to say. Like they're literally not. I couldn't live my life that way, And while I don't, I'm very intentional with what I post on social media, as far as like, my relationship, and I see that you are too. Because people pick that apart. I mean, from the rooter to the tutor, however they say it. Is it rooter or is it rooter?
Yeah, you read it from the rooter to the tutor. You said it
right. But they will pick that apart. And so I feel like, and even like with the whole social media thing, people are at a place where it's like, if you don't post me on your social media, it's like I'm feeling some kind of way. And I see that in two ways. I feel like social media should know that your partner exists. That don't mean that your full relationship needs to be on, on full display, because that opens your relationship up to so much criticism and talk that you don't even really give a damn about anyway. It just creates so much unnecessary tension and unnecessary talk. So how do you feel about, dating in regards to like social media?
I've thought about this because I see this conversation happening on Twitter all the time about posting and, hiding significant others and all that. And I mean, it's not something that I make a big deal of. I mean, I definitely don't want to be anyone's secret, you know what I mean? But you post a picture here and there, because I'm at a point, I think for me personally, I don't want to post anybody until I'm like engaged.
Absolutely.
I want to make sure that this is what, I mean, and people can break up even in engagement, but I feel like hopefully once we come to engagement, that we both know that this is where we're supposed to be, this is God brought us together and all that. So, but personally, I don't want to post anybody until an engagement, to know that, okay, this is my person. We're going to be married. Now, someone can post you and still be having conversations in their DMs, still be texting people, so it can still be a lot of fluff with that. You want to know that that person still, even if they don't post you on social media, that they still act like they're in a relationship. You know what I mean? Like not having inappropriate conversations through social media, or even just in their phone, text messages or whatever.
Okay.
So in my opinion, you want to make sure that you guys are, that they still acting like that y'all are together, whether he's posting you or not, or she's posting you or not. So that's not like a big thing for me, unless we are engaged to be married. Then, of course, I want the world to know that this is my husband, my future husband.
So what if, let's just say, hypothetically speaking, let's just say you're fashion, you're into fashion. And most of the stuff on your page is fashion. Where are you posting this spouse at? Is that in your story? Is that in
my story?
Is that
or even in my highlights?
Okay.
Exactly, like my highlights, my stories. Because I thought about this, because I am going to be in a relationship this year. Amen.
Period. And that's that.
Exactly. So yeah, in my stories or in my highlights. Yeah.
And that's exactly where I'm going with it, because I'm running like several Instagram pages that I'm growing right now, and I don't always post my relationship on those, because I am a person, like, I don't want to see all that drama and shit on my feed. I don't want to see all that fighting, and like, I don't want to see it. So what each page that I have is tailored to whatever it is. My makeup, I mostly see makeup stuff. I'm working out, I see mostly like workout stuff. My podcasting, stuff I'm seeing on my podcast page is more where I'm getting into the, the baller alert, the shade room, CNN, just news that's going on so that I can have, things that I can chime in on. But when I look to post my personal life, I typically do post it in my stories and, save it to highlights and things like that. So I'm totally in agreement with you on that.
Yeah, I don't think it should be. I mean, your relationship should be the focal point in your private life, obviously. But on social media, I don't think it needs to be very, unless that you guys are in business together, where social media is prevalent, but I think what's most important is that y'all foundation privately and how y'all handle each other on and off social media.
Yeah.
That's to me, that's important. Yeah.
Yeah. Now let me ask you this, girl. Because now so we done got through social media. Dating. And even especially right now with everybody being like on high alert with COVID and stay your distance and this, that, and the third.
Yeah.
How do you incorporate somebody's kids? Because you don't have any. So we're in COVID right now. You meet a guy, y'all dating, whatever. He got kids. At what point, do you meet them? Do you not meet them because it's COVID? Like, how do you kind of, wheel that on in?
I say honestly, unless we are, we both see that, this has potential, then yes, I would like to meet your kids, but otherwise, I don't want to meet your kids unless I know we both are wanting to be together for the long term. You know what I'm saying? Because I get attached to kids. I've dated someone that had children and I get attached to kids. I love kids. I want kids of my own. So to me, it's important that we're both are on the same page as far as what we're wanting and how we want to live out our lives. And then once we figure that part out, then of course we bring in the kids,
Right.
but kids to me that's very serious and it should be treated, where you both are being intentional, as far as where the kids is concerned, especially the men. You want to see how the man to me operates in that space in the term in the means of you dating him as well as the mother of his kids, so yeah, to me, I need to make sure that we're both serious. I need to make sure that we both wanting to move forward for the long term.
So when you're making sure that y'all serious, like, okay, let's just say you realize you guys are serious and it's like we're talking about, next steps. At what point do you meet that child's mother? Like what do you consider a reasonable time, and at what time? Because some people may feel like, don't have my kid around no other woman unless I meet him first. But then to me,
I mean, that's something that they establish, and I think that's fair. She has the right to want to make sure that the person that's being introduced to her kids are legit, So I think it's fair if they both have set their guidelines where she doesn't introduce anyone to the kids before he meets, the person, and vice versa. I think that's perfectly okay because I understand that they have kids together and they co-parent. It has to be an agreement as to what that looks like when they are introducing, other partners. So I think that's fair. I'm okay with that. What I'm not okay with is
what I'm not go back. Hold on. What I'm not okay with
is foolishness and drama and what I mean is the mother of his kids is controlling the situation, and just overstepping her boundaries outside of parenting and caring and being creating a safe space for them. I get you wanting to, make sure that he's not bringing in everybody. I get that. I'm all for that. But you creating a space where there's drama, I don't have time for that. I've been there, done that, not doing that again. So if I feel like that there's some animosity there that's not cause for, I want to move forward with the relationship. Girl, I'm
Now
that
see, now
cut,
see
cut
that, now
dry.
see that, that's where I was getting to. Because
Mm-hmm.
I was going to ask you, because there are some really good people out there that
Absolutely.
just have some shitty baby
Mm-hmm.
daddies, baby mamas, ex-husbands, ex-wives.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And unfortunately the kids suffer, as well as the parent who is trying to move forward in a healthy co-parenting relationship.
Mm-hmm.
Would you, at that point, are you still going to make that man suffer? Like, it's like, you know what, I'm not even going, you know what, I like you, you're a great
No.
guy, but I'm not dealing with that.
Like okay, I'm gonna be fair. I'm gonna work with you in the sense that you are communicating with her, like you are actively saying, this is my person. I want to involve her in our lives. I want you to get on board. Like if I do, as long as I see that he's trying and there's no drama, I can move forward in that sense. But I feel like if it's to no end, I guess, like if it's to the point where she's kind of messing up what we got going on, or maybe influencing something with the kids not to like me or whatever, just unnecessary drama, I won't move forward, because I just feel like I don't, because I mean, I want to have kids my own, you know what I'm saying? And I don't want to a point where the kids can't see their, other siblings. Like it can get very petty
Yes,
in that
absolutely.
whole dynamic, and I have to consider all of that when we're talking about creating, coming together,
In
you
a
know what I'm
blended
saying, and
family,
being a
right.
blended family.
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely.
Yeah. um and that's just actually where I was going, because you actually threw that little wrench in there. I was thinking more along the lines of, you know, you supporting this person if you see that he puts her in her place,
Mm-hmm.
if you see
Yeah,
that he lets it be known, this is my woman, she will be respected. And
absolutely.
I'm giving you, because at some point, Jessica, people have to, as much as you want to respect the person that you're co-parenting with, some people just make it so hard. And
Mm-hmm.
sometimes the person that's really trying has to put their foot down, like, look, these are my kids too.
Mm,
I have tried to introduce you to the woman who I plan to build a life with, who I plan to be around our kids. I have
mm-hmm.
tried that. And at this point, that's not working, but I'm not going to let you destroy this over here. And those are my kids too. So I get 50-50 say in who I have around them. So with that
That's
being
real.
said, you can take it how you want to, but on my days, on Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, and every other weekend, my kids will be around
Come on now.
their stepmother, and that's just what that is. If you had a man that stepped to her like that and let her
Yeah.
know she's not going nowhere, whether you like it or not, we have a baby on the way, and my kids will have a relationship with their other siblings, whether you like it or not. Now, when you get on a bandwagon and you're able to be an adult, I'm sure Jessica will be more than willing to do that. But while you're not in the adult space, she's not going
Mm.
to be, subject to you being just being immature.
No, that's so real. I mean, you said that perfectly. I mean, just to piggyback, I mean, if the man is not strong in a sense in his manhood and his fatherhood, the dynamic is not going to work. One thing I can say about my ex, and he probably the only thing that I can give him grace for, he was a damn good father.
Uh-huh.
And when he said that this is what it was, me nor her couldn't say nothing. Not that there was beef,
And that's that feeling that
but
make you be like, when a woman is like, you know what, you can't don't tell me. Then when he put that foot down, it's like, oh, like what? Look,
listen, we both shut the hell up. We didn't.
oh,
She didn't argue, and I didn't argue, because he stood firm in what he believed in, and his relationship with his kids was his topmost priority. So you want to, in my opinion, you want a man or a woman that's being firm about, especially a man, being firm about his relationship with his kids and saying, I am their father too. You will not control this
that's
dynamic,
right.
and this is what it is. So that helps. I will, move forward with a man that is moving in that manner. But if he's not if he's anything other than that,
Yeah,
this is not going to work.
absolutely. Now, on the flip side, you do have, to me, and I'm not dating, so you let me know.
Sure.
You do have people that play on the fact that, oh, my child and the baby's mother and the like, they play on that to keep you in limbo, because they're telling you one thing, but they over here with the ex, and the kids like, yeah, baby, we gonna work it out, and we just, I just really want us to be a family. But over here, he dating and making you feel like, he's singling on the market. Have you had any experience like that, or like, you know what? Walk me through it. You walk me through it.
I have been, honestly, I have not. I haven't had a situation where he's playing both sides. Sounds like the scenario that you're giving. I haven't had a situation where he's playing both sides, but I've heard stories about, dudes still messing with the baby mama, but messing with the new girlfriend or whatever case may be. Actually, you know what? No, that wasn't that type of situation. But it was a guy that I was dealing with years ago. He had kids, and he was in that time. He told me that he was actually in that scenario where he was messing with the baby mama still, and had a current situation. And then what ended up happening was, how he got caught up was the baby mama called the baby daddy and put the girl on three-way and had her sit there and listen to their conversation. And that's how the current girlfriend found out that he was messing with both of them at the same time. And I was so, it's so funny. You would think that would have made me flinch or run for the hills, but I was young and crazy and was like, oh, okay, that's crazy. Like, why would you, but I didn't even, bat an eye. I thought that was crazy, but it didn't even make me stop dealing with him at that time. But I was much younger. But yeah, no, I wouldn't. I am a woman of discernment, and I'm very intuitive.
Yes,
so I don't play that nonsense. Yeah, if I feel like you playing both sides, then you gone. Yeah, you gone.
And that's that. It just gets deep with the whole, like, I guess for me, the whole just dating to me is like, I'm just glad I'm not doing it. That's really what I could say.
It's just very funny. I think I heard somebody say recently, they were saying like, it's so many levels for a man to actually like you, to like show interest and to date you and to court you. And I mean, while I agree with that to a degree, but I think you just finding out initially what that person wants kind of cuts out all the fluff and all the BS. Meaning like, so what are you looking for? And they say, oh, I'm just kicking it, then that's your cue. If you know that you want a man or you want to be in a relationship, okay, bet. Let me go ahead, move on to the like a dude told me that. He was like, oh, I'm just kicking it. I said, okay, cool. Well, it's nice talking to you. And he was like, dang, I ain't even like, da-da-da. And I was like, I want more. I'm not just kicking it. You know what I mean? Like, just kicking it is casual sex, pretty much. Like, we're just casually having sex. We just casually dating, like, it doesn't mean anything beyond that point. And so, yeah, I mean, I think when you kind of know initially what that person is looking for, it cuts out a whole lot of BS, in my opinion.
So, like right now, you're not obviously probably meeting people just randomly at Walmart. What is your like dating preference? Like, do you do online dating? Are you, because I totally agree with online dating. And the reason why I say I agree with online dating is because if people can really do it right, not be thirsty, you can actually take time to get to know a person really before you really see them, and know all the, you want to get to know who they are at the core. I mean, before I got married, we were in a long distance relationship. And when I tell you that is the best thing I could have ever done, because the majority of your day is spent talking and understanding each other, and just, getting to know each other on a different level. And when I say on a different level, it's not just about you knowing me and what I like today. It's about you knowing my history, where I come from, what's my background. Did I grow up an only child? Growing up as an only child is completely like a whole different thing, because people who grew up as an only child, they're used to being alone a lot of times, versus growing up in a big family. Do you have family trauma? And those things need to be discussed before you jump off into having kids and all this other shit and putting trauma on these kids. And
oh my gosh,
and building these relationships based on hurt and anger, sadness, trauma, PTSD. Like, you're literally building a relationship on that because you have not taken the time to get to know these people. Don't come breaking up and shit every other week, because I don't want to hear it. Because you didn't know them when you got with them anyway. And so many people are literally going through these relationships and marriages and different things because they are so scared what people on social media are going to think. And that's why you need to keep your shit off social media, because when shit hits the fan, especially when you did it for likes, it's a whole different ball game. Baby, you don't have to like a picture. You got to like a picture of me and mine.
Because you don't even know what's going on.
You ain't got to like a picture. Because baby, what I do know is it's secure in here. And we're living our best life. So,
and that's what I say. That's what I would say that's lacking in the dating scene. Just really deep conversation, depth, and transparency and empathy and understanding of one another. History, like you said, because that plays a part into who they are today.
Yeah.
And I feel like I haven't had a whole lot of conversation this year alone with guys where I feel like, man, I'm just maybe I would say 2 guys. I could maybe 3. That I can say we had like I feel like there's some depth there. I feel like, he has a sense of self, you know what I'm saying? Like, he know who he is to an extent. And I just feel like that's lacking a lot in dating, just in general, just people not talking. People are, want to take the photos and look pretty and
absolutely
and jumping and having sex and just laying up, versus like, who is this person? Who am I talking to? Where, who, his heart, where his head at, and, spirituality and family and, all those to me makes up who that person is, and something you should want to know if you are going to be dating them or having sex with them. You know what I'm saying? So I just feel like we don't ask enough questions. And I gotta also say this about myself. I mean, I've struggled with this in the past, but I feel like 2020 got me all the way together in how I date, how I communicate, who I'm dealing with, who I'm holding on to. It really had me take apart the things in my heart and really made me see, why am I doing this? Does this even make sense? Or does he align with my goals and my vision and where I'm headed to? Like, God has called me to do certain things, and I need people, friends, family, partner that's aligned with that. And why am I still, entertaining this dead end conversation? Like, I had to really ask myself some very important questions this year. And now I feel very free to be who I am. And that's why I feel like dating is a lot more fun now, because I just cut out all the BS. I just get through all that. I just be like, oh, okay, you want to do that? Cool, bet. Let me go over here. Like, I don't waste time. I'm not going to sit here and be like, oh, that sucks. And dang, I really like him. It's a lot of guys I really like throughout the years. And, and we weren't on the same page, and I sat there and dealt with it and, went on and went on. And then it left me broken to an extent. It left me feeling lonely or feeling all these different things that God don't, yes, those emotions are part of being human, but at the same time, you don't have to put yourself through that. You don't have to, go through all that nonsense because people say you got to kiss a couple frogs to get to the actual person. Yeah, you can date, you can process of elimination, but you don't have to get involved physically, or you know what I'm saying, or just, I don't know.
And even with you saying that, the whole kiss a couple frogs, it leads me to a lot of people saying, I'll just say this, people stay in situations much longer than they should. The whole, when I was dating, I would hear people say, you just walk away so easy, you just give up. It's not that I'm walking away so easy, but I'm not going to give you years of fucking over me. for me to prove that I was a great woman
right
in the first place. So I gotta let you run over me for like years and years and years. And then once you decide that you're ready to
that you ready
wagon, then that's when shit's supposed to move. But I'm ready now.
Girl.
I'm ready now. So why
that's
is
one
it
about
that
issues?
Yeah, I feel like why is it that it's a problem for people to walk away what seems to be so early? I'm walking away because I'm not going to deal with that drama. I'm walking away because I'm not going to deal with that anxiety and that stress. I'm walking away because you ain't going to have me gaining 10 and 15 goddamn pounds because I'm up here worried about you. So I'm walking away so I can maintain my mental health, maintain the person and that I am and the character that I have, because so many times when people stay in relationships longer than they should, even and some of these relationships ain't even relationships. They just ships.
Situationships.
Look, ships, they're sinking. They ships.
Yeah.
And so many people stay in it and they don't walk away because they want to give it a little more time. No. Because see, when you step to me, I'm gonna tell you what my auntie always told me. She always told me, if you don't do nothing else, you make sure that crib is laid at all times. Make sure that crib is together. And the reason why you do that is because when somebody comes to your house, you present yourself well. When somebody see how you present yourself and they come to your house and they see how you live, they know how to step to you. Don't come stepping to me with this whole let's chill, because baby, the bills continue to grow. And like I said, you're not going to be in here soaking up my goddamn cable. You're not even soaking up Netflix, even though I be using my sister's account. You're not going to soak that up for the free.
I have two things for you. Somebody told me you can't pay dick with bills. You can't go to the bill collector and be
you can't pay bills with it. Oh, you can't pay. Oh, okay, you can't pay bills. Right.
Yeah. I mean, I think I said it backwards, but you can't pay bills with dick. That's what I meant to say.
Jessica, what'd you say? You can't pay dick
with bills. Excuse me, guys. But but like you can't go to
Girl, you got my stomach hurting.
You can't go to Spectrum and be like, I have this dick. Can I pay this bill? I have it on ready.
Now, if I give you this, how much of that? How much you gonna knock off for this?
Girl, they're gonna look at you like,
I want you to take that. Okay? I want you to take that full everything that you got going on and take it on over there, outside the door. Right outside the door.
And I have one more for you. My grandmother said this to my aunt, and she repeated it to me. She said, if you don't stand for something, you will fall for anything. And I just think having a stance in what you believe in, like, they say your what is that? Your boundaries or this is your must have. It's like, I need you to have these things. And if you don't have it, or if you don't have it and I'm bending on my boundaries and I'm letting you slide on through, then that means I don't stand for anything, because I don't have standards. I don't have these are my deal breakers. Like you can't get in. So I just think, especially in Black culture, man, we have and it stems so many different places, but now that we have evolved at this point, this whole holding a man down and just oh God, it has ran people to the ground.
Well, it's I hate to say it's running this course, but people have taken this holding your man down, holding your spouse down to the next level. They've taken it to I'm just not with the whole, and I get it. Everybody want to be what they call it, a down ass bitch. I get it. Everybody want to be that. But why are you gonna be down for somebody that want to stay down?
Yeah,
I'm not gonna be down.
Like you have to evolve. Like you have. I mean, okay, yeah, we started when we was 18, and we didn't have none, whatever. But like 30,
come on now.
30 years old. I'm so intentional this year. It's not even funny. I'm
Yes.
thing. It just, oh gosh, like it just has to make sense, and not just in relationships, but even in my career, even in work, even
Yes.
in our goals as far as me wanting to be a fashion influencer. Like I'm just, it has to match what's on the inside. All the work I've done on the inside is not gonna be
Yes.
null and void behind a man. Period. No man
Right.
is not worth my peace. And we have just, this whole being a ride or die, being down, it just run its course to me.
Yeah.
Yeah, be down because as a partner, I want you to be down for me because I'm gonna be down for you. But at what cost?
Yeah.
Not for you disrespecting me, cheating on me, lying on me, mishandling money. I can't. That's not you being a down partner. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
That's you mistreating me. That's you taking me for granted. You don't see how special I am. So
Yes.
you just treating me any kind of way. So
I
I can
mean,
go all day with that.
that is a great way to look at it. And when you say it like that, it just further takes me to a place of like, I am all for supporting your spouse. I have a very supportive spouse. Like literally, it's nothing that it is really nothing that I want that I don't have, really, honestly. And that starts literally from within, because I'm just always so happy and grateful for what I do have.
Amen.
That's just where I am. Now, we are both in a place of like supporting each other, and we're in a good financial place, and we're, mentally and spiritually, we're on the same, path and growing path is what I mean. And we're growing together. And we've pretty much always been that way. What I will say is there's two types of being down. I'm all for being down and supporting a spouse, because guess what? And you did mention this too a second ago when you were like, I'm not going to have you cheating on me and doing all these things. Cheating and doing all that other shit, it irks me because you create problems that are so unnecessary. When there are people out here struggling with the real problems, people out here that have lost their job and one spouse and living on one spouse's income, and that spouse has to support them. You have people out here, women that's having miscarriages, and they are trying to have a baby and they continue to not be able to conceive. You have people out here who are going through an illness with one of their spouses, or having family issues with the spouse's family. That is where the love and support needs to come. Don't expect me to support you when you out here doing all this other nonsense. I don't have the time. So with that being said, people take the whole, being down for your spouse, being down, supporting them. They take that shit to the extreme. Now you telling me to be down with you while you scam. Now I'm not doing none of that. Like I'm not. You take that shit on somewhere else, because I don't have the time, and I also don't have the jail time to do. So
listen, I don't have bail money. I don't have bail money.
Thank you for saying that, because I don't have that either.
My credit card. No.
Listen, I have it, honey. I don't have it to give. I don't have it for that.
You gonna stay in jail, let that ride out.
Just sit it out. It's cheaper for everybody. Just sit them days up and they charge you $100.
It is what it is.
There you go. Sit it out.
Like, being stupid and careless and cheating, that's a tough thing. And I think as again, going back to a society, I think as a society, expect women to kind of just deal with the man that's cheating and act like he's not disciplined. He can't keep his dick in his pants. Like, I just refuse to believe that. There are men who believe in monogamy, who don't cheat on their wives and girlfriends. I mean, is there a lot of men that do cheat? Yes. But do I think all men cheat? No. And I'm not going to accept that my partner cannot, discipline himself to not do, cheat on me outside our relationship or whatever. So no, I won't accept that at all.
Now, one final thing I want to bring up, because we kind of talked about it earlier, but as far as being financially on the same page, where are you with that? I mean, I feel like you said, you're coming into your 30s, finances are, becoming more of a major thing, because like in your 20s, I ain't gonna lie, we be playing. And there's, don't get me wrong, there's a lot of people out there that in their 20s, they literally have their shit together.
I mean, they
20s,
either they killing it. I want her either. Don't worry.
So
I want her either.
I just wasn't one of them. So when you get to that level, like you are, we've talked about you, making your home purchase and, just getting financially straight.
Mm-hmm.
At what point do you decide whether or not you're going to deal with the person when they're not financially straight? Because some people may look at it as like, well, y'all don't want a man that work at Walmart. Y'all not trying. It's not that, because a man that work at Walmart can still pay bills. Mm-hmm. He can still provide. He can still meet you halfway. Yeah. He can still meet you halfway. But what I'm saying is, when you are not showing me that you want more and that you're going to do more and that you're trying to get more. And what I mean by trying to get more, I'm saying, we all have to make sacrifices. I like designer stuff. I love it. But guess what? Yes, I'm not going broke for it. And neither is anybody in this house. We're not gonna go broke for that. Now, birthdays, we might splurge a little every here and there. We might splurge. But baby, that is not going to be on a regular basis, because guess what? They're already paid. You ain't gonna take my little coin for me to post a picture. And the thing about it is, people post the pictures and then they don't even want to post the shit again because they done wore it yesterday. Not yesterday, but they wore it in previous pictures that they posted. Yeah. But they'll rather go broke for it. And I see a lot of guys, guys and women too. Yeah. But baby, when I tell you they done got that stimmy and went into Louis, and now they broke it.
That $600. I'm great. I'm thankful for a little extra coin, but child,
you hear me anyway. But if that's your first mind, when you get a little piece of change, you don't think of how to put back, how to set up for this part of the future. At what point, Jessica, do you say, you know what, financially, you're not ready for me, and where I am financially, I'm not ready to deal with you?
Listen, I've dealt with that. I dealt with a guy who said that he was working on obtaining his certification to get into this tech field. Mm-hmm. And while he was, as that was one of his goals, he had a regular job working in a warehouse. Okay, whatever. And he said that around this time he would be taking his test to get his certification. That time came, he didn't take the certification. Now, months had went by. I've known him for almost 2 years now, and he still have not obtained his certification, but still working that said job, making, a little bit above minimum wage. That's a problem for me. Okay. Because at some point, like with the whole ride or die situation, you need to evolve. Right. You need to grow. There needs to be a level of elevation. Uh-huh. And the fact that you making just this much is enough for that lifestyle. But what if we're talking about getting this condo, getting this townhome, or getting this house? That's going to require more income. So are you now asking me as your partner to work, to grind, to hustle for this lifestyle for us to get to the next level? Right. Is that what you're asking of me, since you can't do it for yourself?
Period.
You know what I'm saying? So to me, there has to be, you have to evolve. Like, at this point at 30, it's unacceptable.
Yes, ma'am.
It was okay when I was 25, 24, 23. At 30, you have to be making what I'm making or more. Period. I don't give a damn about my mama, daddy, sister.
You gonna catch a little heat for that one, because people may say, well, why they gotta be making what you making? They could be making,
because society does the culture, the communities that we're living in. Let me just speak to like Black folks. Okay, where we came from is a struggle. And I've struggled. I watched my mom struggle. You know what I'm saying? And because I've been there, I don't want to go there in the future.
That's right.
I want my kids to have access. I want to have access. I want to have access to good medical care. I want to have access to good education. I want to have access to good food. I want access to clothes. And I don't have to be necessarily name brand because I don't wear all name brand.
That's right.
But I want access for myself and for my future kids.
Right.
And the man that God has for me wants the exact same thing.
That's right. And when you bring kids into it, I mean, you just brought up a great point. So many people are saying, "Oh, you don't have kids. You're 30, whatever. You're 30, you don't have kids. Why y'all waiting so late? Y'all gonna be so because I should have kids at 15 because you did and you struggled. That is not my, like you said, I watched my mother struggle and I don't want to go through that. I want to kick it. I want to do me all the way because I am a person that feels like when you decide to take that next step to have a kid, it is no longer about you. Whatever you were doing before that baby got here, baby, hang it up because it now becomes about this child. Now, that is not to say that parents should not have a break and that parents should not have me time and that parents should not have date night. And that parents should not go on vacation with their other couple friends or just them two or by yourself or whatever. I am not saying that. But what I am saying is when you have a child, 1, 2, 3, 4, and people kill me when they have the first one and they continue to move on down to 7, you struggle with number 1, but it's my fault that you struggled and I'm supposed to just understand that? No, I'm not supposed to just understand that because and I get it. Like so many people like, I'm a single mother. But you know what? Or I'm a single father. It is so important to know who you laying down having this baby with because the aftermath of that is like all the shit that we have to hear on the phone. And we don't. But because I am choosing to have a child with a person of quality, choosing to have a child with a person who's on my same page, who understands, hey, once we have this baby, life changes. It's not about us. And while, yes, it may seem like, because see, one thing about me, I ain't finna call around looking for no babysitter. You can hang it up. Not doing none of that. Because I feel like once we bring kids into the picture, if I want to go on a vacation, it ain't no vacation that they can't go on. I want to show them the world. You know what I mean?
People are traveling with their kids. Yeah.
Instead of me investing in maybe a Louis Vuitton bag, I may want to invest that in my child's their sports. That brings joy and excitement when you know that you want a child versus when you just got one sprung on you. You know, so I don't like to be judged and looked down upon because I have chosen to live my life freely and in peace with my spouse before I decided to bring a child in a relationship. And then you bring a child in a relationship, y'all broke, ain't nobody got no money, ain't nobody got no time off work, can't nobody leave work, pick up the kid from they sick, you know, ain't nobody got money. It's between the light bill and the basketball team.
Okay, some formula.
That is not fair to them. Then you hollering at them because they got a project due and you don't have the money for the supplies for the project. You're mad at these kids. You're instilling all of this anger and just because you're struggling because you decided to have kids prematurely, and now you're taking it out on those kids as if it's their fault that they have these fees that come up. So how do you feel like when you think about being 30, not having kids and knowing that you want them in the future? Do you feel like you having them late or do you feel like you're having them at the right time?
I have no regrets waiting up until this point and even maybe longer. I kind of figured that things would happen a little later for me in terms of, I mean, even like my career is starting to pick up at this point. But especially dating, marriage, and having kids, because I just feel like God had to deal with me on certain things before me having a partner and me having kids could even happen.
That's right.
Having kids and what I instill into them, the legacy that I want them to have is monumental for me, you know, because I know what it's like, you know, not having a good relationship with my father, and, you know, having to support my mom, and, you know, just having to do all these different things that, you know, I mean, at this point, you don't want the burden to deal with, but you have to do it because it is what it is. Right. But I want to give my kids, if I can give them better, that's what I'm going to do. That's right. You know, and having them at 31, 2, 3, I'm okay with that. My sister had, I mean, it was intentional, but she had my niece right now who's 5 years old. My sister's 38, so she had her at 33. Okay. But it's because she struggled with having kids for years. But anyways, I feel like that's perfect to me, because at this point you've gone through all that you need to go through into this point where you and your person is ready to have a baby. And, you know, and you guys are more settled and more established, hopefully, you know, Lord willing. And then, you know, you can give your kids everything. That's what, like, the way my sister and my brother-in-law are living at this point, they give my niece and my nephew everything. And we do too, as my niece, my mom, my grandparents, like, we all are, as a community, as a family, it's instilling and caring and loving and nurturing. You don't, like, all of that makes them who they are. You are shaping their lives from birth until adulthood. You know what I'm saying? So I feel like my niece and my nephews are going to get the best, because for one, their parents give them the best. You know what I'm saying? They're at their space where they are securing themselves financially, mentally, and emotionally. Now they're working on getting their home now. Like, they're just, to me, they're doing a good job. And if I can do that, if I can wait, give myself time to get my stuff in order, I will, because I want to give my child the best. Absolutely. And I want my community, my family, to give them the best as well, because I'm giving them the best. That's right. That's right. You know, so I personally, for me, I'm very intentional about who I have kids with, and when I have kids, and all those things, because those things matter. That's right. Everything that we doing up until this point matters. Yes. Like, we think it doesn't. We think we can just, you know, whatever you live, because I understand people might not be viewing life the way I view it, but it all, to me, makes up who you are. Right. You know, and if we don't start looking within and listening to what our heart is telling us, and if you are spiritual, what God is trying to tell you, people just be living aimlessly and not having a sense of direction. And that's how they can pull you down with them, because they don't know where they're going, and they're going to take you to nowhere. Absolutely.
All the way to nowhere.
Nowhere. Right. And you going to be looking crazy, and you going to look back and be like, damn, I wasted however many years with whoever, because I wasn't listening to my intuition. I wasn't listening. I wasn't having discernment on who I'm dealing with. You know, I'm not perfect by no means. I'm not saying this because I have it all the way figured out. But what I'm saying is, last year I had to sit down and I had to listen. And once I felt like I listened, I got those instructions. I'm applying that shit now. We're not wasting none time on nonsense. We just not.
That's right. And it's because it's really time out for it. It's really time out for all that wasted time is really time out for. But
life is so short.
It is. And if nothing else, I've always just taken, I try not to take life for granted. I will say COVID has really helped me to dive into me. And like you said, knowing that time is like so precious, it's that quick. Life is that quick.
COVID definitely taught me that, because even when some of my family members had got COVID, that literally like scared the hell out of me. Right. Because my sister, she kind of got the worst in the sense that she was having like faint spells and feeling very fatigued, that scared the hell out of us. We thought she'd have to end up going to the hospital. But thank God she didn't end up going to the hospital. She got over it. But that scared me and made me realize we're not here forever.
That's right. That's right.
Everything we doing matters. So
That is great. Jessica, I am so grateful that you decided to do this episode with me. I mean, it's been deep, girl. I already
Yeah.
told people it's about to get deep. That's my word. Deep. Like
Yeah.
you gotta, it's too deep.
Yeah.
But I am so grateful for you coming on and sharing your experience. I mean, that's girl, look. um, Tell everybody where they can find you, where they can follow you.
Yes, yes, yes. So I'm Jessica Johnson, as you mentioned before. My Instagram name is black_silhouette. Black is spelled BLAK_silhouette. And that's where you can find me.
Jessica, thank you so much. I really appreciate it. And it has just been a great time with you. I mean, as it always
Yes.
is. So y'all make sure that y'all follow Jessica Johnson at black_silhouette on Instagram, and be sure to keep up with her. And don't forget, if you haven't already, follow at Coffee Bean. Oh Lord, excuse me, at Coffee Bean Talk Podcast. Be sure to follow us for upcoming episodes.